Hello, welcome to another episode of I don't know if that makes sense. The podcast
The podcast.
with your co-hosts.
Whoa.
We got
So.
and we got Andre. So we skipped episode 3 because we sometimes lack a sense of time, a sense of perception. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Let's go.
And all right, so let's start with the definition of time and perception. So we and the folks back home are all on the same page. So time, and we both agree that we'd like this definition. Time is the indefinite continued progress of existence and events in the past, present, and future, regarded as a whole. So, well, also too, how about this? Time, even though we experience it linearly, which goes with perception, which I could kind of go into. So perception also is the ability to see, hear, or become aware of something through the senses, or otherwise the state of being or process of becoming aware of something through the senses. That's interesting. Becoming aware of something through the senses. And then all of that happens in the indefinite continued process of existence is kind of crazy. So, right, we experience it linear, right? Like you experience like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like a line.
Mm-hmm.
But like time's actually a circle. Because like the past is still like there and happening.
Right.
It's just like we're not there. And the same thing with like the future. Like it's somewhere we just haven't gotten there yet. So we're like a dot on a circle, just kind of going through it. But then, yeah, that's weird. And like, yeah, but then time flows differently when you're doing different things. Like, I can play a video game for like 8 hours and don't realize it's 8 hours. But
Dead
then if I'm at
ass.
work for 8 hours, the whole shit's different. Like, if I'm at work for 8 hours, it can feel like so long.
Yeah. It's like literally the show when people say like when
Mhm.
time goes fast or time goes fast when you're having fun or like some shit like that.
Right, yes. Time flies when you're having fun.
Um uh, but it's time is strange. And the reason I'm just like even hesitant with that saying my words right now is because I don't even know where to begin. I know for me, time time could be really scary. Because there's just moments in life where sometimes shit hits the fan, but when shit hits the fan, it just slows down so
Right.
bad. But then it's like, but then you know, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't slow down or it goes fast. It is constructed. It like even just a minute. A minute is 60 seconds. It would just go a second at a time.
Right, it's fixed. Time is fixed, but our perception is what changes. The
Right.
way that we understand things through the senses changes.
And
Ooh, yeah. But you know what? You know what's interesting? Kind of to get into like the like physics of it a little bit too, which I think is interesting.
mm-hmm.
And if anyone gets confused, watch Interstellar.
Oh my god.
Um,
Yeah.
but the only thing that actually mathematically changes the flow of time is gravity, right? And I think that is something to be said on that in the sense of the expression of like, oh, the gravity of the situation, like you're not understanding the gravity of the situation, like how heavy this shit is, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in a sense, kind of what you were saying, the gravity of the situation, the gravity of the weight, the importance or lack of importance of whatever it is that you're doing also influences the way that you're taking in the time, so to speak. Because when yeah, it's time, so we're gonna get heavy with it like right off the bat. But when you experience the death of a loved one, time stops. Right? Honestly,
Oh,
time stops because the gravity of that is so great.
right, right,
It's so great that time physically changes for you. Even if it's just in the metaphorical sense, there's at least a precedent set in the physical world of that concept. And I
right.
think there's something to be said on that. Or when there's a lack of importance of something, where it is when you're in a situation like and you're dreading it, you don't like being where you are, the time's going to go slow because
Mm-hmm.
it's not because you're not taking in as much as you can in comparison to like some other heavy shit, which is
Right.
also interesting and
And
disorienting.
it is super disorienting too. Because then it just made me think where would then come into play with dissociating too. Because then that just makes like shit just like wonky and like even if like you like it's like it is like your vessel is on autopilot and like your vessel is doing shit, but it's like you're not doing shit. But then no matter how much time passes, like how much time objectively passes, that time of when said a trauma has occurred, say in the example that you just gave of the
Mm-hmm.
heaviness of the death is sure say 5 years have gone by, but it doesn't feel like 5 years. It feels like just yesterday everything occurred, even with the snap of like just a like then the trigger. Like say
Right.
just something very simple happens and it just everything just floods back and like then mentally it's like you're teleported back to that while physically you're so much more farther away from that point, which then just makes everything just so like weird, not bad weird, just like it's just hard. Again, the reason I'm just like very like I don't want to say wishy washy. I don't know what the right term is, but like it's just I'm also like we're all going through similar similar stuff like that. Oh god. So I guess it's just like we're just like I know I'm currently going through it. I've been going through it. So it's just like stuff that like, I'm like probing my like brain on trying to figure out like, hey, by the way, it's currently 12:30 a.m. It is June 12th, 2024. You're no longer there. You're no longer a kid. You're no longer
Right.
like hit with all of this like you're finally in control. You're finally in control of your life. But it still feels like you're in those chains, you know? And it's just essentially like I'm trying to like pry off these chains from like my brain or just that perception of holy fuck. It's still a really hard like topic. You're just like if you got if any of what I made sense. I'm so trying to figure it out, man.
Right. No, but I understand because it's also too like also what's interesting with the perception in time is like as you get older, time also goes slower because your brain physically processes slower.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, right. So that's why like when you're a kid, everything seems so long. Everything's so long, right? Like the time from like I'm trying to think of a specific interval that like most people can remember. Like the time from like 5 to 15 feels like eternity.
I.
Like really think like 5 to 13. That's from like kindergarten to like the beginning of high school.
Mm-hmm.
That time, like, and you start like really thinking about just like any memories or experiences you've had in that 10-year span is so it feels so long. But then even already like then you think of 15 to I mean like I'm 24, but like 15 to almost 25, it feels also very long because 10 years is a long time, but it's so different,
Right.
right? Like high school for some reason felt like so long, but then college in the moment also felt really long. But now I'm like, wait a minute, I've already been out of school for 2 years.
Right.
Right. And I think also the time flows differently depending on what you're doing with yourself. Again, the gravity of the situations, right? So if you get out of like, like if you get out of school, whether it's high school or college, but then you don't really change too much, like you live in the same place, you have the same habits, you hang out with the same people, like the time won't feel as significant versus if you have like drastic changes in your life as well, you know?
Oh.
And at least that's my perception of it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Perception.
like I've had like next what is it? Yeah, July 31st is the I've had this cat for a year.
Holy fuck, really?
Right, literally, I've already had this cat a year. What? What? Like a year ago, I was living in a basement apartment, and a stray cat literally wandered in through my fucking window. Like that's crazy.
Right. Dude, I I know for myself I never thought I would have an apartment with a really, really just my best fucking friend
Oh shit, that's me. Let's go.
doing this shit. And now I realized I think I'm in the start of my second year being out of college.
Yeah, when yeah, because your class of oh my god, yeah. Wait, no, you graduated last May.
Last May, yeah.
So this May would have been 1 year,
Oh, one
right?
year. Oh, yeah.
Right. Time. Like what the fuck is
Time.
that? Right.
Fuck.
Right.
It's-
Already it's been a year, and you're already saying it feels like two
Right.
because you've already done like you just like changed everything up,
Right. Um,
and inevitably that makes a huge difference.
cause it just, I think it's just on my circumstances. It also just feels weird, cause I know I've said it on previous episodes
Mhm.
before, but I know right now I'm back at my parents' place just to help me with just financial shit. Um, but then being back here then makes me then remind myself during when I was here during high school. So then it's like I don't want to say revert, like fully reverts myself to the time when I was in high school, but like, or not as bad as before, if that makes sense. Um, because now it's like I really am like physically I'm like I am not there. I am not
Right.
back there. Like I've made the changes. I've physically like improved on myself and to just be healthier and I'm just even age wise, like I'm not there. I have such a different mindset than how I was when I was in high school. Um but then it's just I for lack of better terms, it's just perceiving oneself. Is that like a thing that like then has to correlate into
I would say so.
time?
Yeah, I would say so because remember, it's how we're processing things through our senses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, in that definition, I'm sure it literally means like sight, smell, feel, take, all that shit. But the sense of self. How does your sense
Yeah.
of self play into how you process the world around you, which then has to correlate with how the hell you feel time pass, you know? Because also the reason I said too, like high school felt so long was like I was so just depressed for so much of that. And it
Right.
felt so long because I was just like, I'm in so much pain. That just angst.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was justified or not. You know what I mean? It was just that angst. Just made everything so grueling where it was like, oh God, I have to oh God, I have to do this. Oh, I have to think about this. And then too, in certain points of your life, people are also like, you have to think about your future. You have to think about tomorrow. You got to think about a year from now. You got to think about
Right.
which also influences how you perceive time because then you're on deadlines.
Right.
You're counting down on a calendar.
That's
Then you're not actually living in the moment, which also then screws it up.
that's the thing, is that in at least I'm speaking about just for the U.S. public system, but you're just forced to be in these stuff of like you go here for like a couple amount of years, then you go to another place for a couple amount of years, and then even if you don't do like college or maybe you go to like trade school or some shit like that, you still have to do something for a certain amount of years, and it's just
Right.
like deadline after deadline after deadline. But then you're just thrust into like, yep, you just now just do life. Go ahead,
Right.
whatever. Do with what you will. Which is then, I feel like at least, I don't want to say destroy, but I feel like destroy people's like, or just at least like make people's like mind just like boggle. Because it's like, you've been taught to do something for so long, to just think of the future, to now the future is whatever you want it to be. Which is so freeing, but that freeing is scary to people. It's terrifying.
Right. Because that's the existential realization of time, whether you have it or not.
Right.
Whether you have it or not. Because that's the thing too, which is so like, yeah, is that fear of time. Because I also know people that are like, oh yeah, I can't think of the future. Or like what's the oh my god, not to get into it too much, but like how many like just female friends I've spoken to that are like, oh yeah, guy, it's like, oh, green flag if you're with a guy that likes to think about his future or the future or like a future like together, right? Where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
dudes are just like, I can't think about that right now. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Because like your mother's like done your laundry on the same exact day for your whole life. You're incapable of imagining like if you're gonna be with someone for a year or two, like, and how that would play out. Like that's weird to me also. Because
Right.
I'm very much living the moment, but I think there is an importance of like, oh, what is it I used to say all the time? It's live like today is your last, but plan as if you're gonna live forever.
Ooh.
Like really like live in the moment, enjoy that. Like have the little, have your little impulse joys. Like eat those cookies. Like maybe not too many cookies, but you know what I mean? Like eat those
Right.
cookies, like, treat yourself or like take a nap, like enjoy the day by day. But it's also like, nah, bro, like it's cool if you can do that and then like plan ahead for yourself because then it'll just enable you to continue to live in the moment because then your future isn't riddled with anxiety about it when you're in the moment because you planned as if like, oh, I have all the time in the world, but I'm aware that I might not,
Right.
you know. And like
Um.
there's this last thing is there's this the philosophy stoicism, which I think I mentioned before, is a man cannot truly live until he understands that every day may be his last. You know, like you can't really live until you really understand, like, nah, homie, like you really could just like walk outside and just die. Like
Right.
you really could just like random as hell, and it could be like really low key, nonchalant. It could be really gruesome, like,
Who
and
knows?
most people get scared of that because it's a lack of power or control. But it's like, I'm sorry, guys, but you never really had power or control over anything except literally yourself. Like,
Right.
and that to me, I think, is the key to harnessing that power of time and being able to then sustain yourself when the gravity changes, right? When the gravity field changes and time stops,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you can really like allow yourself to experience that and not, you know, be thrown into a dark hole.
Right. Oh, it's it's always with all of this stuff. I want to say like always remember also that it is okay to let yourself to like take that break and to like always remember genuinely to take a deep breath. Like I know it's like, well, no shit, Sherlock, but like genuinely, like the amount of times I've caught myself like just either hyperventilating of the future, of like I have to do this by this time in that order. If I don't, then what? You know?
Right.
Then what? Because then that to me was also then making me think of that failure. Is that it? Failure? Or just like failing, you know? And just like I feel like of people's just like how scared one is to fail. And I think like that could also just like is one of many factors of just
Right.
I guess perceiving shit.
Well, I think it's this too. Just to add to that is anxiety is being stuck in the future. Depression is being stuck in the past. Both of which are only existing in your head because they haven't. Well, the past is quote unquote happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it can't happen again. It like physically can't, right? Like you can't, or at the very least, like you can't. The dot is going around the circle. The dot can never be in the same place twice on the circle. You know what I mean? So once it's
Mm-hmm.
passed, like it's passed. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then the future is yet to come. So you're only imagining that as well. Just to add to like what you're saying with the anxiety, where it's recognizing, taking the deep breath and recognizing that.
Yeah.
Like that's and it's totally valid too to be like worried about the future. You know, when you're like, "Damn, bro, I got bills." Like, no, you can talk about that. Like, that's fine. But it's when shit like that starts dictating the entirety of your life. When that shit starts affecting your relationships to
Right.
yourself and to others, nah,
That's
bro.
when
That's
yeah.
when that's when you're not quite hitting the mark there because then you're not enjoying the moment.
Right. You're not enjoying the moment. And yeah, I guess from my own experience I completely get that with I I remember from what I remember it was always of just thinking of that future and
Mm.
all it took was I remember it was probably like I was here and it was my junior year of high school. And this
Uh,
was just after just like a lot of just a lot of lore occurred. Um uh,
right.
and it was when it was the start of my journey of understanding why what I am currently enjoying to do, which is filming. Um, and it was just a simple put of like, so what are you gonna do for college? And like, my fucking textbook answer was just kind of like, oh, I'm either probably going to become an architect or go into architect for like a couple years, get like a business on that, and then I'll do a father son co with like my dad, and like just do that because he owns like a fucking home improvements stuff. Um, but the guidance counselor, she just told me like one word, and it was kind of like, why? And then at first my brain was just kind of like, what do you mean why? I literally just told you. And then she's like, no, no, no. What, like, why do you want to do that? Um, and then I think that to me was like the foundation of that, like, thinking of that balance of like, what do I want to do for myself? And I feel like there's so many other stuff that helped me understand that, but like, that to me then made me start questioning of like, why should I continue thinking for like a future that like I don't know what the future entails. Like I can tell myself what's gonna happen like an hour from now. I can tell myself what I'm gonna be doing 5 years from now. But
Right.
like I don't know what's gonna happen. And I've been in so many situations where like that really would then come to the test of like this might be this might be it.
Right.
So it was then a big process of then like breaking down that like mindset with myself, and like through the help of many others. One of them is currently all in this space with me. I've come to learn that like no matter what happens in life, um and no matter how, again, no matter how hard or how brutal stuff gets, um as long as I'm able to do what I want to do, and I'm with people that I love, and they appreciate me for me, then I really can't ask for more. And but with that too, it's again to put it to what you said so perfectly of the I'm still going to truly let myself live in the present moment, but to also then allow myself to know, like, no, like, I have goals that I want to achieve. I have goals that I want to complete, but I shouldn't hyper focus on that because I don't think that that is only a part of, like, this journey that we're all, like, going through, you know?
Right.
Um, so I guess I just really want to emphasize on like just don't let yourself like don't let your brain wander and just have time like just like speed run on you, you know?
Right. Because I think that too is like kind of to almost like amend or clarify, right? Where with the like, oh, playing like you'll live forever in the sense of like, don't limit. I would say like something that I don't like what people say is, oh, now but I'm too old now. Like, nah,
Right.
I can't. Where I'm like, I'll be honest with you. At least I'm saying this now, so I want to keep this mindset for my life. I will be 80 years old, and I'll still be having some wild ass goals and dreams. I'll be an
Right.
old man and still be like, nah, bro, I still want to do X, Y, Z. Where it's like, Grandpa, you can't walk. I'll be like I don't give
Go.
a fuck. Like that's no way, Jose. Like that's what I mean by like playing like you'll live forever in the sense of just because time has passed or just because certain things have happened does not have to limit your vision
Right.
at all. Like it doesn't have to limit your vision at all because because I don't want people to also think, because the problem is people also do this where they do think they have all the time in the world, but then they get themselves into a situation where it's like, yeah, dude, well, now you are 50 some years old, you're unhealthy, you didn't achieve any of the things you wanted to achieve because you did all the shit that other people told you wanted to do, and now you're going to have to put in a lot of time and effort and energy into doing the things you want to do, and you know what? Yeah, it's going to feel like you're not going to have any fucking time to do it.
Right.
And the problem is too is now, especially just people our age in general, everyone wants it's the instant gratification. Everyone wants the, oh, I want it now, I want it now. Where it's like, no, like nothing happens overnight either.
It takes time.
So, like don't waste your time either. And like, I mean, I'm like not shitting on gamers because like I'm a big gamer and I love TV and stuff, but it's also like, don't have a 9-to-5 job, go home, and then you just put your eyeballs on a blue screen. Because very quickly you'll realize, wow, I just wasted so much time. Like, as much as we joke, genuinely, I don't want to have my life flash before my eyes, and it is a bunch of memes. You know what I mean? I don't want my life to flash before my eyes, and it's a bunch of, like, Instagram posts. I want it to be filled with, like, genuine memories of human connection and, like, joy. And the only way to really get that is to embrace what time you do have, which is the now.
Right. Which is the now. And I know with that, it's funny that you say about the Instagram memes.
Yeah, I say all the time, like, my life is flashing before my eyes. Chipotle is my life.
Chipotle. But
Chipotle was in the right,
I think I know for myself at least. I completely get you, and I think it's also just. I feel like maybe it's just being grateful for again what you said. Whatever time you do have, like when you're physically in person with the people that you like care about, just to, yeah, just to not regret. So no matter what choice you do, in the end of the day, as long as it's a choice that like you are like, I'm completely fine with, this is something that I want. Like really think that something that you want to do with your time. Because that is the thing too. Don't let other people think that what you're doing is wasteful. Like,
right. Oh, that's another good one that definitely influences. Yup.
Like,
yup.
If say like, yeah, no. To simply put, it's like I know there are other people that don't really like to film, and that's completely fine. I know for myself personally, I wouldn't want to be an accountant. That is complete, like, that's okay.
Right.
It's just, like, with all of this, with the wasted and whatever, like, the waste, like, that is just, like, to person, like, case to case. In the end of the day, what we're just saying is just essentially, like, we just want you to do what you want to do. And I know there are definitely going to be times where, like, you're doing shit like, fuck, like, I really don't want to be doing this. But, like, to really just, like, think it's, like, it's temporary, you know? Like, I know for myself, like, I'm having struggles with, like, I'm just continuously reinforcing myself and saying that, like, I know what I'm doing now. I know I'm cleaning public bathrooms. I know I'm dealing with, like, actual shit. But also, like, I'm not also dealing with, like, just mental shit from, like, that just place in this environment that I'm in. I know that, like, it is not forever. I know that I will get to a place where I'm just, like, literally, I manifested what I said I'm going to do, which is just film and just be with loved ones, man. Like, this is something that, I know I've talked with Andre about before, but, like, to put it in emphasis, I moved last October, and I was there from October to May. That is roughly, like, 5 months, 6 months, I think.
Mm.
But it felt so long but fast at the same time.
Mm.
Which I genuinely I loved it. And I know there are a lot of times where I fucking just like rotted. But like but I rotted but at the same time in those moments like it's like I rotted but like it's like I felt like I was allowed to just let myself just like feel my shit. Um and to just have like a proper space where I was able to just like just feel alive or wanted. Um, and those are just a time that I'm really grateful I had, and it's a time that I know I will continue to have because it won't like I will go back to being able to like be at a place where I can just be myself, where I can just like literally do the shit I wanted to do. I just know right now I'm just in the middle of my journey of this weird, long, fast, fucking convoluted journey. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to mention about that shit. It's 6 months, man. And now we're
Right.
in June.
Right. Right. And we're like already almost halfway through this month.
Yeah. Damn. Oh.
Right. Time. You know, but it's just inevitably is like it's all about. It's like anything else. It's how you spend it.
That is
And also
super
also
true.
acknowledging and truly understanding, I do have to say this too, how valuable your time is,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I think people don't realize, people get very caught up on money, right? Just to kind of like, it'll come back to it, trust me. But people get caught up in money, right? Where it's like, oh man, I need more money. No, 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 no. You know what rich people do with money? Rich people know what money is really used for. Money is good to obtain resources. Resources is the actual value of anything, right? Like what has
Mm-hmm.
true value? Like when we really break it down, if the world ended and money wasn't a thing, what has value? What has real value is like water, food,
Right.
the ability to like form relationships and connections, the ability to motivate people into action, right? Your time. Like your time is up there with water in value. Like really think about that. Like you need your time to live, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
people, why do you think we have ads everywhere? Your eyeballs are the most valuable thing on the entire planet. Your time, your energy, right? Your time is your ultimate resource. Your time is your ultimate resource. So I think it's important too because people also think like, oh, I don't if I had money, right? People say this, oh, if I had money, oh, I would, you know, world hunger no more. Oh, homeless people, I'd help them too. You can help these people, you can do kind things, and it's just about giving your time.
Yep.
Like volunteering is like everything. Just giving your time, giving like one day, not even a whole day, just a couple of hours in a week, in a month, in a year,
Just to
to
help.
make time for another person to like help someone out, even if it's necessarily volunteer work or it's just someone you love, like also just giving them your time is worth more than any physical object or any kind of money you can ever give. And I think also when we just collectively or on an individual basis, even like when we come to understand that the value of our time, you also learn to spend your time better and you spend your time with more intentionality. And kind of going back to what you said of like, there will be times where you're like, man, I don't want to do this shit. It's also like, okay, like I'm not invalidating you, Soul, just to clarify, but it's like, 8 times out of 10, whatever it is that you're like, man, I don't want to do this shit, at least from the jump, you probably signed up for it. So there was an initial reason why you signed up to be put in an uncomfortable position, because it's going to get you somewhere that will get you comfortable. And I think that's important too, to understand when you are in those situations where you're like, damn, this shit sucks, to understand like, well, how did you get there in the first place? Did you do this really for your own benefit later? In that case, it's not a waste of time at all. You know what I mean? In that case, it's like, nope, you're just doing something uncomfortable right now because later on it's gonna build you to be the person you need to be, or in the place that you gotta be or want to be, to get the shit you need to done. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to emphasize real quick. I completely get what you mean, and for the people like listening in, like, just to like let you know, like, we do understand that. Of course, the times where shit really is out of your control, and it's just
that's totally different. Right.
And then it's just having with that too, like, which I want to say it's for me at least. It feels unfortunate, but it's just really having to just like accept it, even though like a lot of parts of my brain like is really can get really bitter with like having to do that. But just we want to let you know that like just the difference with that too. Cause I know people be getting too in their heads when that topic starts to go up. Cause I know, cause my brain started doing that. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Well, I would say this, even in that situation, the one thing you can control is yourself.
Right.
How you handle that situation. Going back to the I would say it's kind of similar with the negativity enjoyers. Like a negativity enjoyer is unaware of the value of their own time, to the point that they waste their own time with being negative.
Right.
You know what I mean? Of being just like, oh man, this all just sucks and it's always gonna suck. Where it's like, well, homie, if you only knew how valuable you were, if you can only see the way that creation sees you.
Right. Absolutely. And I think it's just again, and I know I've said this before, but of your feelings and emotions are always valid, but to then also like allow yourself to like, no, like, I'm gonna feel my shit. I understand that like I feel something like this with like certain topics or just whatever the topic is at the moment, but to also then like reel yourself back in whatever way you can. And when I say reel yourself back in, it's like, say whenever something like triggers you or something like that, or you just have an episode, like just stuff to ground you back to like you know?
Right, ground you back to you, yeah.
So then it's like with that, with the with what you're saying with the negativity enjoyers of not like being aware of their time, is that like I think it's like I feel like it's like they have the first part down of the like you're letting yourself like feel your emotions, but then I don't think you're then either processing your emotions or like you're letting it then consume your overall like self.
Yes,
Which
you're
then,
letting your emotions rule you.
Yeah.
Because the emotions are supposed to be just passengers and you're the driver. The moment you let the emotions become the driver, you're fucked.
Right.
Because those guys, the emotions don't have a license.
Nope.
Like, they do not have a learner's permit. Not even like their dad was too drunk to drive home and you're 14. Like they don't even have that. Like they don't know what they're doing. Sorry. Like it's just not gonna work.
Yeah, no, like you tell them to go right and then they go behind. They wouldn't even know what the word reverse is. It's
I was gonna
crazy.
say they don't know gas from brake.
Yeah.
Honestly, like your emotions don't know gas from brake. You know what I mean? Like they don't like if
Yeah,
you really
nah.
don't get a hold of it, like they really will just start and stop you at any time
That
in so many different contexts.
really, really good word or usage of words. They don't know.
Thanks. But that it's just time is inevitably like, you know, your most valuable resource.
Mm-hmm.
Because no matter what, even if you feel like, oh, I'm forever young, I'll live forever. Oh my God. No, you're going to die. And like, there is more time that has happened in this universe where you didn't exist, and an equal or greater amount of time where you won't exist. And that's something not to terrify you, but should honor you at the fact that you even exist at all.
Right.
The fact that everything in the universe led to you, led to your being here, led to your consciousness, and your awareness of that phenomena of time itself anyway. Ants don't understand time. Like, creatures don't understand time. They understand seasons.
Mm-hmm.
They understand the flow, the ebb and flow of nature, but not the concept of time, of the indefinite. What I have to pull it up again. That beautiful wording, like so intense. The indefinite continued process of existence and events. Come
Yeah.
on. Like an ant doesn't understand that, but you can, and you can harness that. That's the crazy. That's the crazy part.
Yo. Shit is
And that,
bonkers.
yeah, and that you can control the narrative that is your perception. You control how you process that to some degree. Sometimes you can't, but also then understanding at the times when you can't. And that's super cool. That's super, like, I don't know. I think time is a beast most people don't want to face because it seems really scary,
Right.
but it's actually on your side.
Yeah. It's just let it enter into your life and just accepting that we'll be okay.
Right.
No matter what.
Right, literally, it will be. And like it will just keep going.
Mm-hmm. I'll keep on going.
But you can slow it down. That's the thing too, is you can control the speed. You can't stop time, but you can control that speed. Meditate.
Oh yeah.
Take that deep breath. Listen to Soul's words, damn it. Take that deep breath. Unplug. Like, sit in the park for, what, honestly, my challenge, because I've been doing this on the Instagram. Oh, by the way, we have an Instagram if you guys don't know. But where I'm like, oh, today's challenge, genuinely, anyone that's listening to this, whenever you can, not whenever you can, make the time, because if I say whenever you can, people won't do it.
Make that
the
time
for 10 minutes. Sit outside somewhere and don't look at your phone and don't think about time. Like, just sit for 10 minutes. Set a timer if you have to, so then you don't have to think about it. For 10 minutes. So many people will find that process excruciating because that 10 minutes will feel so long.
Yup.
And that's how you can control the speed. Just take 10 minutes.
If you need any examples, one thing that I always try to do, because I don't have a means of being able to go to like either by the beach or like by a park like that. So to be honest with you, I kind of just do that during work because I'm able to like I'm just able to do it like during like a break or some shit. because I'm just literally
Right.
out there. So then when I get the chance, I'll either I just walk by the boulders, or I'll just open the van door and just have like the wind just like kind of like consume me, and just seeing the clouds go on by. And it does feel like half an hour, 2 hours have gone by, but in reality, like only 5 minutes went by, and
Right.
that's okay because you're just in that nature, or whatever form of nature that you're able um to be in. Just appreciate it, man. Appreciate it all, no matter.
You know what? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, just no matter what type of nature, whether it's you're in the beach, or whether you're literally like in an office space, but like you have like just anything, you know.
Right.
But continue.
Oh, I was just gonna add, because I like the way you said, like, whatever nature you have. You know what else too, guys? If you have a pet, you have a cat or a dog, for 10 minutes, don't use any electronic or anything, and actually just spend 10 minutes with your animal. Uninterrupted, just 10 minutes with your animal will also seem so long. Because
Oh,
I will tell you right now, because I remember I did that when you know, I want to say just like when the cat first moved in, because that's literally what happened. I would specifically, like, all electronics off, no music, no nothing. I would just sit in my bed and she would be in my lap, and I would just pet her for 10 minutes, uninterrupted for 10 minutes. And she would just love it. Because your animals also, they have their own version of seasons and time, and like, and they know when you give them time, and they know when you don't give them time.
right.
you know and any, like, parents listening too, same thing with your kids. Like, just spend 10 minutes with your kids and not use an electronic. Like, have them not use one and you not use one for 10 minutes. And don't ask about, like, oh, how's school? The stupidest, I hate, we'll go into that in a different episode. The worst question you can ever ask your child. That's like asking your spouse of 20 years, how was work? They're just going to go, it was fine. It was work. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Just ask them how they're doing. What was
Right.
your dream last night?
Literally.
Like, literally any other question just about themselves, not about school, because
Yeah.
that's just a job. Especially when you're a kid, that's just your job. Like, and that's that shit that just consumes their time.
Mm-hmm. Like, even just asking, like again, like the, not how is school, like how was your day, like just anything, just, oh, fuck.
Right. What was the challenge of the day?
Right.
Like, I love that question. What was a challenge that you had to overcome today?
Because the thing that I know for myself that I love is just whenever you do say like shit like that, and like a lot of, like, I remember always a lot of the times, like, always just catching people off guard, because even if you don't realize it, it's like, oh wow, like they want to know how I'm doing, and then you
Right.
just get them to just talk about themselves, and like they're just in it, and then I don't know how to explain it, but it makes me just feel like either giddy or just like you're just talking about you.
Right.
Just, oh,
I like that. It makes me giddy. It makes me giddy when you talk about you. Oh, I love that.
yeah.
I'm definitely using that. But right, I love, and I do that even to, like, that's another challenge, everyone. Make 10 minutes to not be on an electronic and actually live in the moment. And take the time, even just one person, just like follow up with them and ask, like, how they're doing, or like what's new. Because I'll do that with my coworkers where I'm like, oh, like, dude, like, how's your eye? Like, your eye was like fucked up the other day. Like, how is it? And then all of a sudden they realize, like, oh, no one followed up with me on that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's everything. Like, just care.
Yeah.
Because then people start to also care about you. Actually, you want people to care about you, you got to do it first sometimes. 9 times out of 10. You got to start the culture you want to see.
Be genuine about that shit.
Right, and be genuine. Oh my God, it's intentionality. Be genuine about it. Use
Mm,
your time wisely.
yeah. No.
Because that might be. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's such a thing for me. That's such a thing for me. Just be genuine. Use your time wisely. Like, not everyone gets time.
Mm-hmm.
Some people literally get born into this world and only have an hour or less. You know, none of us think about them.
Yeah.
None of us think about them.
I. Yeah. I don't know how else I could just word it, but just appreciate it, man. Really appreciate it. Because I just know even like my my brain is like edited with like, well, like actually I'm like, no, the only reason you're like my right now my brain is just hidden with like trying to edit is because I'm just getting like it's not even my own thoughts that is saying these like negative shit. It's just shit that other negative enjoys have said to me to try to just shut me up and to just be complacent.
Right.
Which
Real.
no, you know.
Right, it's just like, why live that way?
Yeah. Oh God. I feel like we could definitely have like so many other episodes just talking that same shit.
Right, literally, yeah.
Oh. See, like even like even in this game. Oh, by the way, this game is called Jump King, and it can be very rage-inducing. But when you're talking with
Yeah, I love the way you say that. It's very raging.
but when you're having fun talking with another friend, um, time just goes. Like even right now, we're currently at a 57 minutes and 50 seconds and counting.
Right, literally, time flew. Like, did not feel that long. Does not feel that long in any sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's crazy, man. You just keep on jumping towards the top. I think sometimes you fall back down. Maybe you fall down a lot of times, but that's alright.
That is alright. You know why?
Mine.
Because you have the time.
Because I have the time.
Last thing I do want to say then. Another expression that I have, so like just at work in general, if you know, I'm very much cordial of just like, oh, excuse me, pardon me, like whatever, just
Mm-hmm.
for literally any little thing. Usually then people are kind of like, socially obligated. They're kind of like, oh, I'm sorry, or something like that. And then I always say, and I love saying this, whether it's in English or in Spanish, is just, I have time. Tengo tiempo. Like, I have time. Like, it's okay. Like, you want to look at the milk for 10 minutes? That's fine. You want to kind of stand in my way? That's fine. Because I know the value of my time.
Yup.
I know the value of my time. I'm never bored. When it really comes down to it, I'm never bored. Only boring people get bored because my mind is endlessly thinking about things and experiencing things.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how much time I got left. So I'm gonna have my weird intrusive thoughts. Like I'm gonna have my like little moments, like whether for better or for worse. Like just let it ride out because that's how that's how you work through your stuff. That's how you like grow as a person. Like it starts with understanding the value of your time. Like you can't really live your life until you understand that you might not have much longer to live.
Right? So To just keep on perceiving this world in your weird own way.
Right. And try your best to just be positive, because honestly, it'll just make the time that you do have just more enjoyable.
Yup.
Mm. So yeah, make time for your kids, make time for your pets, make time for you, because you know, at the end of the day, it's the indefinite continued process of existence. Indefinite, like it's all gonna just go forever. So start acting like it and have fun. Because if you're listening to this, you're able to hear. And if you found this on social media, that means you're able to see. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
using a phone to listen to this, then that means you're able to touch. That you got enough senses to to figure it out.
Yup.
Hell yeah. But I don't know if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Any
Uh,
last words, Soul?
uh yeah, just keep on rocking in this free, wild world, in your own weird, beautiful way. Um, uh, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, on until then, I hope you lovely spirits take care, stay safe. This is Sola and good old Andre, and yeah,
Peace.
bye bye.